Hey everyone, it's Dr. O, and I am going over deliver us from all haters. So when I did my first video in reference to this particular playlist in the series, it was about the spirit of jealousy and envy. But what I'd like to do is incorporate the spirit of bitterness now. And I want to go over even how I got resentful. Like I resented quite a few people, but mainly like 5 top people in my life. I began to resent them. Why? Because I put up with too much for too long. I played number 2 for too long. I decided to put myself in a subservient role versus being in service to somebody. I became a servant to someone. And then I also put up with like a lot of their demons. And so I became someone who started to resent them. And resentment is definitely a path to bitterness, okay? I can't say that I was actually bitter once we get into the definition of what bitter means, but basically my point is this video is not to expose other people as much as it's exposing me. I do not believe in keeping a beam in my eye while calling out the beam in other people's eye and calling them out where I don't call myself out, and I want to hold myself accountable as I'm going through this particular video. So let's get it started. Jealousy means I want what you have. Envy means I don't want you to have it. Bitterness means I've been wronged, I've been overlooked, I've been abused, misused, I've been misguided, I've allowed myself to go through too much, I've been through too much, and I'm going to poison you. I want you contaminated, okay? Now let's review that one more time. When I'm jealous of you, I want what you have. When I'm envious of you, I don't want you to have it at all. And when I'm bitter, I want to poison you. Now you see the difference? This is all dangerous. This is all very, very weird. So when we think about bitterness, we're actually thinking about Satan, the definition of Satan, right? When we're thinking about bitterness. So this is where it gets real tricky, okay? So a jealous person would be more like, I don't know, Joseph's brothers in the Bible. You know, they're jealous of him, right? And an envious person would be someone like, I don't know, Jezebel, you know, because she was very powerful. She just didn't want Elijah to have power. But bitterness means I want poison, blood, death. I don't want you to make it. I'm going to go and I'm going to sit down with some people and pay a fee to get you up out of here. I'm going to make sure you don't make it. Everything you do, I'm going to sabotage. I'm going to make sure that you feel what I feel and you go through what I go through. I'm going to tell you what people did to me, and then I'm going to turn around and do it to you. I'm going to victimize you. I'm going to make sure that you feel my pain. I'm going to make sure that you understand from a deep perspective what I have been through, because I'm going to take you through it myself. I'm going to make sure that you feel it. I'm going to not just want you to feel it. I'm not going to watch you go through it. I'm going to be responsible and accountable to make sure that you go through it. That's bitterness. That's Satan. That's beyond demonic activity. That is something that's very difficult to deal with. And that's when a person needs to go through a strong, stringent deliverance, right? Jealousy, wanting what somebody else has, is almost childlike, right? Why did she get applesauce and I didn't get applesauce, right? That's the game that jealousy plays. Envious, not wanting you to have it, is closer to bitterness, because why don't you want me to have it? You have it. Why don't you want me to have it? I have a lot of people like that, mainly people who are around money. They want it all for themselves, and greed and envy are real close knit. Very, very, very deep love affair, right? So greedy people are pretty envious, and when they see somebody else with something that they believe that they should have, they will sabotage it as well, right? So I just like to show these things because throughout my life I have experienced this Trinity a lot. Now don't get it twisted. I have also been very resentful. I remember a time when my ex posted something about someone else and hadn't posted about me. And I'm like, bro, you see me out here working, hustling, I'm feeding you, I'm taking care of you, I'm doing things that I'm supposed to do. Why would you promote somebody else? And I know you're proud and they deserve their promotion, and you hadn't promoted me in a while. So that was me being jealous of what he was doing for another person versus myself. I mean, this person was trying to make me jealous as well, but I mean, I fed into that because I was like, yeah, that's not cool. You know what I mean? So I get jealousy. So yes, I've done that naturally. Like, dang, you're gonna lift this person up and they've treated you this way, and I've been here the whole time and you didn't lift me up, right? The prodigal son in the Bible, there's a jealousy of the righteous son who was there. The prodigal son has left and been sleeping with pigs and lost their inheritance, and out here doing the fool, and you're about to throw them a banquet, a party, give them a ring, and give them everything that they deserve as a son when they were acting like a fool. And here I am, I've been here the whole time, never made a mistake, didn't do anything wrong. I'm a little jealous, right? And so I like to point those things out because jealousy could be a natural response, but you have to overcome it. God said that above all, right? Sin crouches at your door, Cain. But above all, I wish that you would overcome it and you would empower it. Even though it's crouching at your door, you do not have to feed into jealousy. Will you be jealous? Probably. Could you become envious? Maybe. Should you be bitter? Absolutely not, right? Let's get way away from that. But can it happen? Absolutely, it can. So when we're thinking about the spirit of bitterness, we are talking about somebody that's pretty far gone. That's like stage 4 cancer, like for real. And because it has started to filtrate so much so that no matter how much you remove, no matter how much radiation, it's still going to be tough. And the radiation itself could kill you based off the amount of cancer that you have in your body. These people are the definition of cancer, right? And who wants to deal with that? Who wants to deal with that? No one, right? So I bring that up because a lot of people don't know the differences and the nuances between jealousy, between envy, between bitterness. And I believe knowing that will help you even work on yourself, not pointing the finger at other people, but looking in yourself and saying, hey, am I acting jealous? Am I being a hater? Am I being envious of this person? Do I have any resentment or bitterness for this person? And I had a lot of bitterness for somebody, or resentment rather, for somebody that could have turned into bitterness. And I just was like, ugh, yuck. So I would never necessarily go out there and shame them. But if somebody came and asked me my experience, oh, I couldn't wait to let them know. I couldn't wait to let them know. And even if I told the person, I really do not believe that they would change because they treated a lot of people like that. But my point was, that was not the time for me to explain my case to somebody. Seek professional help. Seek spiritual help. Seek trusted help. Seek guided help or even group therapy before you go out here and put your mouth on somebody else's name, because you don't know who you're talking to, number one, and you don't know how that's going to affect yourself or them. Now, for me, the relationship was completely over. It was over before it even got started, but I couldn't see it and I needed help to get out. So for me, I was grateful. However, it didn't have to be the way that it was if I would have been mature in that situation. But I had so much resentment for the things I allowed myself to go through because it was a repeat of my childhood traumas and my childhood that I applied in my adulthood. And that does, in fact, happen. So I want to give you some tips on when you are in a circumstance, a situation where you're feeling that spirit of jealousy or envy or bitterness starting to seep in, or resentment starting to come into your psyche. Obviously, you can just say no. Just that 2 letters, no. No is a complete sentence. And then you can begin to pray against that. And then you also ask God to remove you through wisdom, through dignified wisdom, remove you from the situation. It does not have to turn into a battle. It does not. What is understood does not need to be stated. What you identify with, you don't have to continue to explain. Your identity will start to change, and you start asking God, God, help me with my identity. I don't want to have to go through an identity crisis in order for me to be able to go through this life. I don't want to keep on experiencing wrongful things happening to me for me to go through what I'm going through, whether it be somebody doing it to me or me doing it to somebody else, right? And so I had to learn sign 1 is the disrespect. You don't need closure. The disrespect is the closure. The moment somebody shows you that that is who they are, that is final. Now, can they change and transform by the renewing of their mind? Absolutely. But until that happens, that is not something that you want to take yourself through. So the moment they put you down, the moment